channel. Today we are here for another review, and today, with it being the beginning of the season and you are probably pulling those clubs out of storage, we are looking at some golf grips and gonna see if the Star Grip Sidewinder is the right grip for you and if it could save you a little bit of money. So this is another company that I met at the PGA show this year, and I was really intrigued by what they were putting out there. They had a very loud booth. They had a air compressor, and they were just sliding these grips on and off pretty quickly and pretty easily. And it caught my attention. I went over, talked to the guys, and did a video with them. And you guys had a ton of views on TikTok of them. And so what we decided to do was partner up, see if we can get a review of these things going. With it being the beginning of the season, like I said, I really want to see if these could be your grip of choice this year. So we got the Star Grip Sidewinder. This grip retails for about $8 on their website, so not the cheapest grip out there, but also not the most expensive. The thing I would compare it most to is a Tour Velvet, and that's kind of what I'm going to compare it to throughout this review in terms of price, feel, technology, all that kind of stuff in it. So let's hop to it. Right, so the first thing to talk about with the Star Grips is their installation. So they are a little bit different. One of the things that they heavily promote is the fact that you don't need tape and solvent and all that mess that comes with doing that, and the mess that regripping can cause. You got to find a place to put the mineral spirits when you roll them over the grip, that kind of stuff. What they push is they have an installation tool, so it kind of looks like it's a nozzle, and got a little trigger on it. You put it on the end of the grip, and then you slide it right onto the back of the shaft. Now, I'm about to play a video for you guys to kind of show you that. Now, I did do it with tape on to kind of make sure that we get the sizing right, because that can kind of make it feel a little bit thin if it doesn't have the tape. And I also did it with the tape off, and I'll show you both ways in this video. But the one thing I really want to mention here is the fact that I found it a whole lot easier to actually do with no tape on the shaft. It actually slid right on. When I had tape on there, it did stick a little bit, and it wasn't as easy. And to be honest, if I'm going to use the tape, then I'm most likely probably just going to end up using the solvent anyways. But take a look at this. Watch the video on installation. We are starting with tape that was left on by the previous person. So looks like this is probably the stock ping tape that came with this. Everything looks good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to see how it does with that. Because normally what I can do is I can usually just burn this right off and then take it off, or hit a heat gun with it, but I don't have any of that on me. And for the person who's going to use this as an install tool, maybe they don't have a garage setup or anything like that where they have a heat gun, something like that, taking this tape off is going to be a pain in the butt. So maybe they want to be lazy. We know people like to be lazy. So let's see if you can do it with old tape installed on it. So here we go again. Got my air gun, got my specialty tool right here, the blowgun tool. Let's fire it back up. there it is, simple as that. The install's done. So, what you see here, nice grip, gripped up, no mess. All I needed was my air compressor, and if you're somebody who already has an air compressor, it's going to be a great option for you if you want to do your own work. Now, how's it going to do with multiple reps, things like that with the air? You know, I couldn't tell you. I'm not a rap guy. I'm not a guy who wants to play multiple reps. But yeah, that was fairly easy. If I had a better workbench where I could get a little bit more leverage, probably going to be pretty good for me. But what I think about when I think about this, the special install with no mess, no anything like that, is somebody who like lives in an apartment, right? And maybe they have a vice or like a small townhome where they don't have a garage to have a workbench. Can they do this? And I gotta say, this little workbench that I got from Harbor Freight, plus the vice that I got at Harbor Freight, plus the air compressor, I mean, you're looking at kind of an expensive setup to do this, right? But at the end of the day, it wasn't too difficult. If you don't want to do the air compressor install, you don't have to, right? It works with normal grip solvent and tape as well. So if you're okay with the mess, but you don't want to have the workbench, the vise, all that kind of stuff, go buy these grips. They don't have an alignment aid on them, so there's no logo, so they're logoless. So it doesn't really matter how you put the club in there or how you put the grip on. If it's crooked, it's fine because there's no such thing as crooked. It's not ribbed. There's no logo up, no logo down. Actually, when I did this one, I don't know if you could see it, but I had it open like this, and the grip looks great. Right, so that's installation. Installation isn't too difficult. It is a no-mess installation. I did it with tape on, and to be honest, I found it much harder to do with tape on than with no tape. The concern with not using any tape is the fact that you could get some sizing issues, but to me, I can't really feel the difference. But also when it comes to Star Grips, we need to talk about kind of the story, right? Star Grips started out making some small rubber parts for various industries, and they decided that they would take a look to see if they could make it work with golf grips. And they were able to do that. And so they created this, because of the rubber that's used, it sticks really well to the shaft, so it doesn't need that tape. And because of that, they found a lot of success with it, with that no installation. Now, through the years, this is the story Star Grips told me, I have no reason to not believe them, is that they had a competitor emerge. And that competitor was Pure Grips. Pure Grips have been around doing the same thing for about 10, 15 years now. Ever since I've kind of really been paying attention to golf equipment, they've kind of been around. They are known as a company that you just use compressed air. You use your air compressor to push them on. And I was interested and found it interesting that that company was actually started by a former Star Grips employee. So they're taking the same idea, the same polymers, and just basically doing some different stuff. So when we talk about grips, though, in this review, I'm going to talk about three things. First thing I'm going to talk about is the performance. That's the most important aspect of it, right? We're going to talk about how it performs in the heat, how it performs in the humidity, how did it perform in the cold. I was able to spray down with some water, which I'll get into. We'll talk about the performance there. The next thing I want to talk about is feel when it comes to these grips. Now, feel, as I always say, is subjective. What feels good to me may not feel good to you. What feels firm to me may not feel firm to you. It may feel soft to you. So just keep that in mind when we talk about the feel of the grip as well. And then finally, I kind of want to talk about the look of it. Now, this looks like a boring black grip, but there's some cool stuff behind this. So let's get into it. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the most inconsequential part of this, and that's the look. Well, this is kind of a boring looking grip. I just got the solid black grip that Star Grip sends out. And one thing I do like about it, though, is that there are no logos except for on the cap, right? So because there are no logos except for on the cap, you can put this on any way you want to. So you just slide it on, no logo up, no logo down. There's no distracting marks on it. It's a very clean looking grip. They don't even paint fill the bottom of it where it says Star Grip. So there's no real branding on this grip, which is pretty cool. The other thing when it comes to the look of this grip right here is the fact that you can get it in a bunch of different colors. Like I said, I know I got the boring black ones here, but I'll be honest, I'll probably get some red ones if I get some more. But they do white, black, I've seen green, pink, red. They do a bunch of different colors, and I think that's pretty cool. If you want to add a little personality to your game, right? When we look at Golf Pride multi-compounds, they have those in a bunch of different colors. They have them in like black and white, but you can get them in your team colors now, right? It's just kind of fun. You add in a little personality into your golf game. So I really like the fact that these come in a bunch of different colors. So when I talk about the look of the grip, I love how little branding it has, but I also like that you can get it in a bunch of different. So we talked about how cool they look and how you can kind of add your own personality to it. So let's talk about the feel. This right here is going to compare most to a Golf Pride Tour Velvet. With that being said, though, this is a firmer feeling grip. If you're somebody who wants a nice cushiony feel on their grip, the Star Grip may not be the right one for you. That's not to say it's a bad grip. If you want something a little bit firmer, you want something that's going to feel a little bit firmer in your hands, but not quite as grippy and tear up your hands as cords, Star Grip's going to be a great option. I tend to think Golf Pride Tour Velvets can get soft, especially once they kind of break in a little bit. They tend to get kind of soft. They actually feel pretty nice. I like the way they feel. And these are getting there, but it is taking a little bit longer than a Golf Pride Tour Velvet is. These do feel good. They don't slip in my hand. They are tacky, which is super nice. One thing I really like about them is that I can just hit them with a wet towel, little brush if I want to, and they tack right back up. So that's a really nice aspect to these. But in terms of the feel, they are definitely a rubber grip. It's a very tacky, sticky, your hands don't slide very much grip, but it is firm. So if you're somebody who wants to play something a little bit softer, you might want to look elsewhere. But overall, I enjoyed the feel of them. I don't think they feel too soft. Right, so let's talk about the most important aspect of a golf grip, and that's the performance. So when I was testing performance, there were a couple of things that I was worried about. Number one is with the lack of tape under here, how much is this thing going to move in my hand, if at all, right? That's the most important question. Number two is living in Texas, obviously I see a lot of heat, right? So I sweat a lot out on the course, hands can get slick, all of that. And something that's not super important to me because I don't play in the rain a ton, but I know it's a great thing to review, is its performance in the rain. So I really wanted to check that out as well. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't play in the rain very often, but what I was able to do was I was able to spray it with some water, act like it was raining, and then kind of see how it went from there. So when we talk about does it twist in your hand, I put these on every single club I have except for my irons. My irons have leather grips on them that I got 2 years ago. I got a great deal on them. I love them. They're really expensive. I'm not taking those off. But I did put them on driver, 3-wood, hybrid, wedges. And let me tell you, if it was gonna move, it's gonna move on the driver. And ever since I put this grip on there, I have seen no movement from this. This thing hasn't turned in my hand at all. It hasn't felt like it's moved. And so I can't have any complaints about it. The other question was, how would it feel if I opened it up around the greens, if I were doing some nice half shots with some wedges? How would that feel? And how would it perform on that? And to be honest, it performed just like I would expect it to. Just like any other grip out on the market that I could compare it to. Right? So in terms of that movement, I didn't see any, which is a huge plus. So the next question is, how does it do in the humidity and the heat? Well, so far I've had them on my clubs for about a month, 2 months now. And anytime I play, it's been pretty warm out. I mean, we've already hit 90 degrees multiple times out here in Texas. And if I take them out, no problem with any moisture whatsoever. Haven't felt any slip. I don't feel they get slick. I feel like sometimes Golf Pride Tour wraps will sometimes get the like 2G ones, those red, white, and blue ones, depending on which ones you get. I feel like those, as I add a little bit of moisture, they get a little slick. These didn't feel that at all when it came to dealing with humidity and sweat and that kind of stuff. So big A plus there. And then finally, the big question is, how do they do in rain? Like I said multiple times, I don't actually play in the rain, so that's not a huge factor for me, but I know I needed to test it. So what I did was I took my water bottle and I got them pretty wet. What I did is I did dampen them down or wipe them down with the towel, and it actually felt like a clean grip. No sustained issues. I even tried to get my glove wet to see how it would perform with the wet grip as well. And yeah, just no problems. It handled it like an absolute champ, and I would happily recommend this if you play in the rain. Is it going to provide as much performance in the rain as a corded grip? No. But to be honest, you can't expect that with this grip. So what you can expect is Tour Velvet-like performance in the rain. If that is worrisome to you, then so be it. But I didn't find any issues when the grip was wet, when my glove was wet, when I was sweating, when anything like that happened. So in terms of performance, I got to give it an A+ there. All right, so final thoughts. Overall, I think this grip is going to be a contender for you if you are looking for a grip that has an easy install. So if you are somebody who doesn't like dealing with mineral spirits or your grip solvent or going to buy grip tape, something like that, and you already have an air compressor, I think this is a great tool for you. If you're somebody who wants to change their grips up a lot, this is also going to be great for you because you can slide it right on, slide it right off. So I highly recommend it for that as well. Overall, love everything about this grip. Couldn't find hardly any negatives about it. It may be a little firm, but other than that, the performance was great. I love that you can get a bunch of different colors. That's pretty cool. So yeah, highly recommend it. So if you like this review, the best thing you can do to help me out is like and subscribe to the channel. I have about 97 subscribers right now. I'd love to see it at 100 after this video. Comment down below, like, subscribe. I know you hear it from us all the time, us people on YouTube who are just trying to make this work, but it really does help. My last video got about 600 views, and it was because we got a lot of engagement with it with likes and comments. So if you do that, it really pushes it out there, and I love doing these reviews for you guys. I love talking about this stuff, and I'm just an average dude. I have a full-time job that's not this. I'm just an average dude out here giving you golf reviews. I know a little bit about golf. I know a decent amount about equipment, so I'd love to help out. Keep asking questions. Like and subscribe. I appreciate everything. Hit them straight, guys.